My name is Imogene, and I'm going to be doing the interview with Mr. Flores.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm excited.
Should I get on to my first question?
Let's do it.
Why did you decide for our class to do the podcast and not any other?
Ooh, that's a great question. So imagine, let's for a minute think about like how it sounded like we were talking about like a boxing match, right? Let's go with that analogy. Let's imagine that I'm training to do this really cool big fight at the end for like boxing match. And I didn't know it. I've been training, but I wasn't there yet. So when I first started teaching, I had heard about a gentleman named Bob Sprankle. That was his name. He's a teacher. He's a teacher 3rd grade. And this was in the 90s. So it was it was a long time ago. And he, with his class, he taught them to do a podcast like this. But back then it was way more challenging because they didn't have this technology just easily available for them. Like he had a whole recording studio on the side of the classroom with with all sorts of like computers and stuff like that to help kind of level that out. But the kids loved it and they learned a lot from it. And I said, man, I would love to do that one day and be able to like have a show where the kids can talk about what they're learning about, their passion, like something that they're excited about instead of me telling them what, and then like showcase it, show it to the world and have like a little following. And I've always thought about it in the back of my head, but it's a very tricky thing. It's not easy to make that happen because you have to have the right class, the right vibe. They have to be willing to take risks. Yeah. And those classes, believe it or not, and this is not just me being hokey with you, they're like unicorns. They're very hard to find in the teaching world, especially nowadays, right? With everything that's going on. To find that right class that just clicks well for that type of thing, for that particular thing. So it fell on my lap this year. And I was like, wow, this class is ready to make those risky, steps into trying new things. And I said, why not? Let's try it. And so I said, are you in? Do you trust me? And y'all were like, yeah. And then here we are, and so I think it's awesome.
Oh my God.
What did you think when we first started the podcast? Would you think it was like not a good idea?
I was just nervous to go on it. I didn't think it was going to get this popular.
Right? You thought it was going to be like a one and done?
Yeah, I thought nobody was going to watch it except like people's families.
That's true, yeah. It is. It's an interesting way of learning, correct? So what was your favorite episode that you've done?
The one... I don't know which episode. I think it was before episode 20 or anything. Mm-hmm. When me and my friend talked about capybaras.
Oh, that's right. You know that the teacher loves capybaras, and you're like, why not? This is an interesting creature. You've never heard of them. Have you heard about them before you met me in my class?
No.
Oh, all right.
Or I kind of have.
They're very unusual little creatures. It's my spirit animal because they get along with everybody. They're just kind of like chill. Like even predators kind of hang out with them without any problem, like crocodiles and stuff.
I also like our first episode. It's so cute to see.
It is. Oh, have you listened to it lately? Yeah. I haven't actually. I was nervous that day. I was like, man, here we go. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I have to go back and listen to these. And
It's so cute. And I liked the 11th one because we did a whole party and everything. That one was good.
That's true. Our 11th episode for it. Salon 11, right? 11. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my next question is, when did you start liking capybaras, and why are they your favorite animal?
Oh, man, you're asking the real questions here. Fair enough. Okay, so the reason why I liked capybaras so much was when I was in Japan, I had 2 assignments each day. So in the morning, I started in middle school, and then from middle school, I would go to an elementary school by bike, depending on where that day was. So if it's a Tuesday, I go to the north, and if it's like Wednesday, I go to the south, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so the middle school teachers were like, hey, after school today, we're going to all go to a karaoke bar and just kind of hang out and just get to know each other for the beginning of the year. Would you like to come? All in Japanese, mind you. And I'm like, sure, why not? Went and Rome, as they say, right? Let's see what they do. And it was a little weird at first to see adults kind of like singing like very badly. But I guess it's a thing, and they love doing that. And so I just sat in the corner. I'm like, pass. I'm not going to sing. But, like, please continue singing. And so they have a TV. And in each, so when you go to the karaoke bar, there's a room. And then you rent the room, and they give you a little TV. And you can choose the music that you want to play and all that. Yeah. And sing along. So the TV has commercials specific to the bar, to the karaoke bar, right?
Yeah.
And so in one of these, a little Japanese lady comes out. And she scoots next to this giant thing. Like when I say giant, it's almost like it reaches like the size of Penny's waist from the floor up. Wow. It's just big. It's a big
Was
bitch.
it like real?
No, it was like a stuffed animal. And so it just had like just like the ones we have in our class, but giant. I would say probably the size of this table, if you can. So maybe like 6 feet long and then like maybe like 3 feet like tall, high, you know?
That's a lot.
It is. And so I just sat there at the TV looking at this. I'm like, what is that? And the teachers were like, oh, you don't know? That's a capybara-san. I'm like, what? This is capybara-san, popular character, Japanese character. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I was just like, what is a capybara? Like, what is capybara? I didn't know that meant capybara. I just didn't know anything about it, actually. And so that day I went on to go research and find more on the internet what it was and the stuffed animal. And they actually had smaller ones. And so I told Mrs. Flores, like, oh my gosh, we have to get one of these. I want to see I want to buy one. And she's like, okay, well, and she lived in Tokyo. So she was very far from me at the time. So she's like, well, I'll look over here in the city and I'll look in my little town that I was living at. So here we go. We go into the mall, and I actually find one, and it's very cool. They're so cute. They were like little like stuffies. And then I didn't know that Mrs. Flores had one too. So when we got to meet each other on the weekend, we both had one in our hands, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this thing. I fell in love with it. And then I thought, you know what? This is my class character. This is what's gonna like set the tone for each of my classrooms, and it has been a hit ever since. Especially the way they talk and they interact with us and all that.
So what year was that?
That was, let's see, I moved out there in 2011, so maybe around 2012, 2013.
That was a year before I was born.
No way. That's wild. What's your favorite stuffy? Do you have a favorite stuffy of your own?
Animal or stuffy? Animal or stuffy?
Stuffy. Like an animal stuffy.
When I first went to Disneyland, I got a Pegasus and like a little blanket, and I've always had it.
That's cool. I like that.
But my favorite animal is a dog.
Aw, like an actual like animal, right?
Yeah.
Like living, breathing. Okay.
And then I have a stuffy of a dog. It looks so real.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's really cool. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
All right. Well, first, thank you so much. And also, just from my end of it, thank you so much for taking on the biggest role of Salón Once, which is being the executive producer. That's such a big role and shoes to fill. And you've surpassed my expectations of what I was looking for someone to take over the show. So
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello there, and today we are interviewing Mr. Flores.
Hello, hello. This is fun.
So I'm going to ask him 3 questions.
I look forward to it.
So let's get started.
Let's do it. You want to lean into the microphone a little bit? Because I think you're very far away.
Got it.
Like, do you see how close I am? Like, probably this close.
So, do you have any pets that breed in Spike?
So, I don't have any currently, but I used to. Would you like to know the pets I used to have before Spork and Sticks?
Oh, like what?
All right, so we'll start with the easy ones. I had Igor 2, Boris, Juliet, Mujik. I had 5 French bulldogs, all at different times, not all at the same time. They like ran. I had a Cocker Spaniel, Rottweiler, Shar-Pei. I had a Scottish Terrier, like the president, which was kind of fun. And then after that, I had Ready for this one?
What?
I had a hedgehog.
Those are adorable.
I know. They were really cool. The only thing was I was very nervous to handle it. I was so scared that it would prick me, like the little spines. And so I, you know what I used to pick it up? Get this. I used an oven mitt.
Oh yeah, so you don't get prickles.
Exactly. I had to use an oven mitt. It was so embarrassing. They're like, you don't know how you pick up your own hedgehog? I'm like, no. Eventually, she would relax, and then I'd be, she would like let me just kind of hold her normally. But just to get out of the cage, I had to have a proper like something so I wouldn't get
Pickled.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you go. Do you have any unusual pets?
I only have 3 cats, 2 dogs. I have 5 cats if you count the missing one.
Okay, so you're a cat person. I didn't know that.
So I have Eris, Asher, Zabi, and Rosie. And if you count the missing one, it's Cleo too.
Cleo, that's a cool name. I'm sorry, did it ran away or?
I don't know what happened. It happened when I was really little.
Okay, so you weren't super attached to Cleo.
Because I never got to know him, but my parents tell me about him.
Who's your favorite currently?
I honestly don't know.
You like them all equally. That's nice.
And my 2 dogs are Tasha and Frankie.
Frankie. Wow. What kind of dog is Frankie? I like that already.
I honestly don't know breeds of
Is it like
dogs.
a mutt?
It actually looks kind of like a small bulldog. I don't know what breeds of dogs looks like.
Fair enough.
But I'm not sure if Tasha is a chocolate Labrador. I don't know if she is one. I actually don't know a lot of dog breeds.
But knowing you're probably gonna go home
spiders.
today, and you're gonna like ask Dad, like, "Hey, what's the breed of our dog?" I'm sure you're gonna do that, right?
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
And so, how is it like for you? How was your time in Japan?
Wow, great question. So, before I came to the U.S., I was living in Japan for 5 years, like you heard, and it's a very different way of life. I lived at the beginning in a very like countryside type situation, so it was very laid back, very quiet little city. Eventually, I moved to Tokyo, and that is so cool. The city is always moving. Right? There's trains and just lots of excitement, but people are respectful over there. And so everybody's fine. Like you could be basically nose to nose in the train with somebody and you don't exist. They pretend like you're not there because they want to respect your space, even if you're touching each other in the train because you're so packed together in the train. It's that kind of vibe. Whereas here, if you were that close to someone, you'd be like, hey, buddy, how's your day going? Like you almost want to make a conversation, right?
Oh my goodness.
But the culture is very cool. The culture is very good. What do you like Japan by any chance?
Yes. Did you know in Tokyo? I think it's in Tokyo. There's a robot hotel.
There is. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And there's also a rabbit island. And apparently for Christmas they eat KFC.
They do. I remember I jumped on the bandwagon of KFC because I'm looking at them like KFC, like that's such a random thing. But I don't know where the tradition came from. But they eventually started doing that for Christmas. That was like their jam, and you would not believe the lines that you see outside of these restaurants. It's insane. Just to get a 12-piece set of whatever they call that, the chicken thigh and all that nonsense. But yeah, it was it was very cool. The robot hotel is awesome. So the lobby has two robots, and they basically check you in. You answer their questions, and then they tell you everything that you need to do, and they give the key comes out of a little drawer, and that's your your hotel key. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting.
My last question: do you like Kirby?
I think Kirby is a unique Nintendo character. Let me tell you why. So there are many video game characters that I think are really cool, like Link and all them. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of wholesomeness to it. I'm sorry, not. There's a lot of like heroic things. But Kirby, let me tell you, Kirby is wholesome yet amazing. And one day when I was hungry, somebody at my school when I was a kid called me Kirby, and I didn't get it until later when I saw the video game. He just sucks up all the food. Zoop. And sometimes when I get home from school after work, I feel like I'm Kirby. Like I open the fridge and I don't even look. I just go, and everything just starts coming into my mouth. By the time dinner rolls around, I'm not Kirby anymore. I'm more like blah, right? But yeah, I think Kirby's awesome. I use him if I ever play the game. What's that one fighting game where you can choose any character?
Smash.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. I don't play the game though, believe it or not.
I actually agree with that. Kirby is the best.
I have something for you.
What is it?
So you mentioned something just a second ago about editing, right? And I have unofficially made you the editor for the show of Salon Once. So right now I'd like to take the time on the air in front of on all the audience to congratulate you. And I'd like to give you this award. So I'm pulling out an award certificate right here. And actually, it says it's a Salon Once award. It says Senior Editor. This certifies that Bryn Cox has demonstrated the necessary skills and aptitude to responsibly and thoughtfully facilitate her peers with their own writing assignments that pertain solely to the Salon Once podcast. So I would like to award this to you. I haven't signed it yet. I will in a minute, but I wanted to give it over to you. And I thought, what a perfect time to give it to you.
I am going to hang this up in my bedroom to remind me of this.
Oh, well, you can do whatever you want with it. You've earned it truly, Bryn. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of everybody in this class. If you want me to make an announcement to the class tomorrow morning, that would be nice too. Can I do that?
Sure you can.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to thank you for inviting me again to your show, and I think we should stop here. What do you guys think?
Yep, I think we should.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to an exciting episode of interviewing Mr. Flores.
Awesome. I like the introduction. Thank you so much, Miguel.
So I have some free questions, really good ones.
Oh, I can't wait.
Were you born in Japan?
Oh, interesting. May I ask why you ask Japan?
Why?
No, meaning where
Sure.
did you come up with Japan?
Well, you told us last time when you were born in Japan or something.
Oh, I see. So I was living in Japan for 5 years. And before that, I was actually, believe it or not, you ready? I was actually born in the United States. I was born in Florida.
Oh.
In a little town, a little sleepy, quiet, cozy town, and I'm being very sarcastic, called Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, which is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport would be, there's a couple. I enjoy soccer, of course, because I see you're wearing a jersey.
Too.
I do like tennis. So tennis is a little bit more fun, relaxed.
I love tennis too.
Yeah, I think tennis would be the number one. Mr. Gonzalez, do you remember him, the teacher? He got me into what's called pickleball, which is kind of like a mini version. It's like playing ping pong, but on like
real life
street. It's on the street ping pong.
Yes.
And that's really fun. But what about you? What's your favorite sport?
Number one, soccer.
Got it.
Because I play for a goalkeeper. I play goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Second, tennis.
Tennis is fun, yeah.
And third, swimming.
Swimming. I never saw that as a sport, but you're right. That could be one. For me, growing up by the water, swimming was just like a second thing for us. Like, if we're not doing anything, we're running to the beach to go swimming. So I think it's kind of funny that you guys look at it as a sport. Sorry.
Fourth is basketball, because I play with my friends in my house in the neighborhood.
Do you have a favorite basketball player?
Oh, I have some.
Go ahead, give me one.
First one, Stephen Curry.
Okay, nice.
Second one, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, of course.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, the singer?
Nope, the basketball player.
Michael Jordan.
Jordan.
Got it. Okay.
Michael Jordan.
I can imagine Michael Jackson plays basketball though, right? Probably not professionally, but you know.
College.
I can see him playing that. I mean, now he's not around, but yeah, that's cool though. I like that. What other questions do you have for me?
Do you like Mexico?
Do I like
Mexico City?
Oh wow, that's a first of all, that's a very beautiful question. I like that because being born, Miguel, in the United States, I always never considered myself Mexican until I finally went there for high school. So my last year of high school, I really got to be in the culture and be a part of the people of Mexico. And being Mexican myself, it made me a lot closer to that, right?
Yeah.
And so the food and the people and just and being surrounded by such a unique vibe than I was used to in the States, I love it. I just love everything about it, and I would love to move back if I had the chance. I would love to go over there and just be a part of that again. I don't know where I would live exactly, Miguel, but for sure Mexico City would be like my destination. Do you like Mexico?
Yep.
Why do you like it?
Because I have some families live in Mexico.
Oh, that's right. Same here.
I also have some Monterrey and Tampico.
Ah, look at that. That's awesome.
I have two separate
families. Okay.
And one is Monterrey and one is Tampico.
So my question to you, mi pregunta, ¿qué prefieres, Tampico o Monterrey?
Both.
Pero ¿cuál te gusta más?
I love both.
You like both equally? Fair enough. Which one has good food? Which one? I mean, I know they have both good food, but which one's got like the jam?
Maybe Monterrey.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Los tostadas.
Oh, you guys know how to make them, I'm telling you.
Y también quería churros.
Los churros con azúcar y canelita y calientitos, no? Like very nice and hot. Oh yeah, it's the best snack. I like that.
Well, I have one more question.
Go for it.
Which is your favorite World Cup game?
That's also a cool question. So I actually was fortunate enough to go to a World Cup game years ago in the 90s. And if my family's listening, I may get the teams wrong. So let me see if I can remember. If memory serves me correct, I think we went to go watch Mexico and Ireland, because I know we went to watch an exhibition game as well, not World Cup, of Brazil and Morocco. How did you know that?
Because you told us a very funny thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You told us a funny thing, and then your brother just wrote like...
The ice cube story, that's right. I do remember that.
Well, can you tell us to the crowd again?
All right, yes. All right, we'll end with this one then. So what happened was we were sitting in the stadium, and obviously you're more than welcome to join in the celebrations and whatnot when you're watching the game, but you need to be respectful of the people behind you that can't see. And so, and I won't say we were politely telling him, but the crowd behind the guy that was standing up, we were saying, please, sit down, siéntate, and he wouldn't listen. And so my oldest brother had enough and just grabbed an ice cube and he just threw it right at his head.
Funny.
And the guy didn't even look back. He just sat right down. It was so everybody cheered from our section of the stadium. We were like, yay, and I'm like, yeah. So he was kind of a little hero for 2 minutes. But anyway, Miguel, thank you so much for inviting me to do this interview. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I wish you the best of luck next year, man.
Yeah.
You excited about 4th grade?
Yes.
All right.
You have any questions for us?
Well, that would be my question. Are you excited about 4th grade?
Yes. Well.
What are you most excited about?
Playing with my friends.
Okay. Not learning?
Nope. It's boring. I was like,
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, well, thank you, buddy.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right,
I think so. It's time to wrap up.
let's wrap it up. Go for it.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Hello, my name is Flores, and today I'm going to be introducing Mr. Flores.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. Is this an interview?
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I have a couple of questions.
Ooh, I like questions.
When did you start your teaching career?
That's a great question. I started my teaching career, I think it was around 2012, 2011. Let's just say 2011. And the reason why I know so well is because I actually moved to Japan to do that. I started teaching English to Japanese kids in the public school. And it was so exciting, and I had so much fun, to the point where I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to do this for like a long time. So after like my second year there, I decided, I'm going to go back to school to learn how to be a teacher. And I did that. And so little by little, I started making my way through school. And the cool thing was I was doing it online. So here in the US, it was morning, and over there in Japan, it was nighttime. So I was taking night classes. So it worked out like perfectly. And then after that, I had the choice to come back here to continue being a teacher or continue being a teacher in Japan. And so Mr. and Mrs. Flores decided to move back to the U.S., and that's kind of where I continued teaching. It was around 2016, I think.
When, did you like the food in Japan?
The food in Japan was unique. It doesn't, it's not easy because it's mostly seafood. If you know that Japan is an island, big one. So it took me a while to get used to the seafood, but I always looked at it from the side of, if you're here, it must be really good, right? Like if you're here and this is what they have, then let's do it. And I would say 80% of the seafood that I tried, I liked. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Do you like seafood?
No.
No, not a fan? Yeah, I don't know. Fish, I'm okay with. Like salmon or tuna and stuff like that. But like shrimpy things and stuff that like go out the bottom, like the bottom feeders, nah, not a fan.
I like fish too.
Yeah, right? Especially when you deep fry it, like fish and chips. Yum, 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 yum.
How long did you live in Japan?
I lived in Japan for 5 years. So I didn't really have a plan as to how long I wanted to stay in Japan, but I did know that it was something unique. I've never been to Asia, didn't even speak the language before I got there. I really didn't know anything except for like sushi. I mean, that was my ignorance there. But I learned so much from their culture, their language, the people, made great connections. And it helped me become more on the patient side, which is perfect for this job, right? This being a teacher requires you to be patient and understanding of what people are thinking. And that country and their culture totally set me up for that, which I'm very grateful for.
Do you like having a class?
I do. I know that there's other things that you can do as a teacher in the school where you don't necessarily have students, but you kind of do pull outs, like you work with a few group. I think that would be fun, but I think I get my energy and my enthusiasm for doing things from the classroom, right? Like me just sitting here with you guys and talking to you, like the joy of this, like comes from you guys just being in the room. Isn't it weird? Like it's like your vibe, las vibras, So I think that's pretty cool.
Do you like eating lunch with your class?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And then I think we'll end it with this one. So in Japan, the program asked for the international teachers like me to sit with the Japanese kids so they can hear some English as they're eating their lunch. And their lunch is called kyushoku, right? Hopefully I said that correctly. And so while I'm eating, the kids are asking me things like, do you like, all the do you likes, because their English is very limited. But, and then I was like, man, this is so nice. It's such a nice thing to do that when I came to the U.S. and I started teaching, I started just sitting randomly with the students and thinking it was a perfectly normal thing. And the teachers were looking at me like, why are you sitting with the kids? Oh my goodness, I need to get away from them. My goodness, it's so loud and blah, blah, blah. And it just became a habit, I just sat with them every day and we'd chat about nonsense and like And then I realized when I sat with the adults, it was mostly just like complaining or like gossipy things that I really don't care about. And I just started gravitating towards hanging out with you guys. And so now it's just my thing. I always make it an effort to sit at least once a week with you guys to just, hang out. I'm just the adult. I'm not like your teacher. And create just another layer of trust, I guess. Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me introduce you today.
Yeah. I love this interview. Thank you so much, Luz. This was very nice, and I enjoyed talking with you.
And I think this will be it for today. Bye.
Bye. See you.